Welcome to the Profile Series. My name's Terry Duenas, and we're here today. This is going to be a fun little half hour. You're going to enjoy the guests that we have, and you're going to learn something, and that may be vitally important as we go. The guests that we have today are Jill Talladay. She is from, she's the Executive Director of CARE for Cape and the Islands, and Betsy Rich, and she's here representing the, you're going to have to tell me the whole thing, the Cape, the hospitality.
That's where we knew each other.
That's where we first met each other. On the board of directors for the Cape Cod Hospitality Marketing Association.
Wonderful. That is terrific. But you're here more to talk about the Skip the Straw initiative. Now, that's going to be a kind of a fun thing to find out. And we're gonna hold that off a little bit. But Jill, tell us first. We got to know what is CARE for the Cape and Islands. It's a great organization, and it does some amazingly fun and important things.
It does. It does. CARE stands for Creating a Responsible Environment. We're in our 6th year, and I started it because I spent many years working in the tourism industry. Looked around and saw we kept bringing more and more people here, which is great. It has a great benefit to our economy.
Sure.
But then I thought, well, how do we balance the benefit of having all these people that come here and making sure that we take care of this special place, which is why they come here and why we live here. So,
wonderful.
Yeah, so we wanted to do things that would involve the visitors, educate them, get them to think about the impact that they have on our destination, and so we fund grants that provide new experiences. For example, we gave a grant to the Museum of Natural History to help them with developing a pollinator path, and we know how important pollinators are because without the bees, we don't have our food supply. The Cape Cod Commercial Fishermen's Alliance does a peer education program, and they have their fishermen on the fish pier in Chatham, and they educate people about the fish industry, and they had this really great, it was a coloring book, but when we started talking about it, it was like, well, what do you do, what about where the fish live? So I worked with them in collaboration to add educational component, not just about fish, but to think about the things that we need to keep out of the water.
What an amazing concept, too, to bring visitors, since we're so tuned into tourism on Cape Cod. I mean, it's a critical industry for us, we understand that, but to be able to bring folks with an even more important mission than just come and go to the beach and go down Route 28 and go to the restaurants. They can actually learn about the Cape Cod environment and how to do something in a positive way for it. That's where I think you all have been, and it's amazing that you've been going for 6 years now.
Right.
It just seems like it was yesterday that you fired up and started, but it's terrific. And you've got a lot of things going on. And one of the things that maybe Betsy can talk about is this new Skip the Straw initiative that you're outreaching to businesses on the Cape and trying to get them involved. Betsy, tell us about what Skip the Straw is.
To my understanding, Skip the Straw is an initiative to lower the usage of plastic straws, which seems forever to actually biodegrade if they end up in the ocean or in the environment. And it's not necessarily, asking people to just totally do away with straws, but maybe think about it before they actually use it, or think about an alternative to the current plastic straw.
It's interesting because we think plastic, we think recycle. Okay, but if you think about a little straw, I'll bet you we don't think about, do we recycle this straw? We throw it in the trash. And I bet that it's a big thing. What's the reception been like when you've talked to businesses?
Well, Betsy's actually Betsy is
Betsy.
here, represents Highline Cruises. And
Excellent.
yeah, and one of the grants that we awarded this year was to fund the Mariah Mitchell Association on Nantucket, who just launched actually theirs is called Stop the Straw program to educate the local businesses. And there's also a program for straw-free on Martha's Vineyard. So I thought, if we want to get businesses involved, why not get Highline, who goes to both
Absolutely.
destinations?
Great.
And so I approached Betsy, and I know you know there are many benefits to participating in this.
Now, was Highline receptive?
The timing was perfect, actually.
Great.
When Jill had called me about it, and I said, of course, there are other people that I have to speak with. I have to
Sure.
speak with the owners. I have to speak with the food service director. I had my blessing from ownership, and then when I went to speak to the food service director, she said, well, I started thinking about this last summer, and I've already been looking into alternatives, and
Excellent.
we were going to do it on our own anyway this year, and we were going to roll it out at the end of April. There's a huge festival on Nantucket, Daffodil Festival, where we transport a lot of people over to the islands.
Sure.
So which I had no idea. It had already been top of mind to her to actually be part of, taking care of the impact of straws.
That's wonderful.
It was interesting when we first started talking about it. The food service director was initially looking at corn-based straws. And then, some of this is a real education for me as well, realizing that corn-based straws, even though they don't use the petroleum that the plastic does to be produced, they're still stiff. They require a commercial composter to really break them down. So that's really wasn't a viable alternative. It didn't solve the problem that plastic straws cause.
So they're not just a biodegradable alternative.
No.
But I think that eliminating the big trash footprint is so important, and that makes perfect sense. And it makes perfect sense for a business like Highline, who's going back and forth from the Cape to both islands. And if we transport less trash, it makes more sense in the long run. So that's wonderful. Is there a date where this initiative is going to kick off, or is it going to kind of run all summer, and are you going to try to expand it out to other businesses and organizations?
Oh yeah, I mean we're taking it Cape and Island wide, and the Highline, the kickoff is really for Daffodil Weekend, which is the end of April.
Yep,
Great.
April 27th.
Right, and so it ties in perfectly with Nantucket's program, and although we already have other businesses that are on board already, what we're really doing is using Earth Day, which is April 22nd, as the real kickoff to bring awareness and to say, okay, and even if individuals or businesses don't want to do it, how about if everybody does just Earth Day, just one day, and to give you the significance of what just think of everybody in the country not serving straws on Earth Day. 500 million straws every day are consumed in the United States.
Wow.
Just think of what the impact of that would be, just
And-
for one day.
And you think a straw is just a one-time use thing. There's usually paper involved and
Right.
the plastic.
And frequently they're served in water glasses. We don't use straws for the most part at home, especially for water. So why do we need them? And oftentimes I hear people say, well, they give them to me. I don't want them. I take it out, and it's like 30 seconds.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And it's still trash.
it's still trash.
It's still
right.
trash.
Yeah.
Because it's been used.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
very
so
true.
So it's
It could have an economical ramification for businesses too, if they don't have to spend that extra giveaway,
Right.
not giveaway, but the
Yeah. Sure.
extra piece of material to their clients.
Right.
That just makes absolutely great sense.
one of the alternatives that we're suggesting is, if some people really need it, or there's certain beverages that like you think of it maybe a milkshake or something, that there's a company, a local or a U.S. company called Aardvark that makes paper straws, and there are some paper straws that are really flimsy, but these things are really good quality, and they hold up well. And so they may cost a little bit more than the plastic, but if you're not putting them in every single beverage, then
Sure.
you know they still, the business still makes out better in the long run financially.
Yeah, I give them to my little grandson. He chews the end off in about 2 seconds. I said, quit doing that, will you?
Yeah, but that wouldn't be, this straw isn't like that.
Good.
Yeah. And then
That's
there's another
wonderful.
thing that we're promoting too. The people that really want to have a straw are their metal alternative or reusable straws, and these that we have come with a little cleaning brush.
Excellent.
Yep, go in the dishwasher. So
That sounds good. So
yeah.
this is another development that CARE has been involved
right.
with.
Yeah.
We also understand that coming up is a special day that you have every year, and it's called CARE Day.
Right.
It's coming up when?
May 3rd. It's
May 3rd.
Thursday, May 3rd. This is our 5th annual CARE Day. We're going to be at the Chatham-Marconi Maritime Center.
Excellent.
And we're excited about that. We try to select an attraction, a nonprofit attraction that needs highlighting and needs a little beautification. So we invite local business people to come and spend a half day of service. It's a great networking opportunity. You feel good about the work that you do. And at the end of the give back portion of it, we invite our grant recipients to come and share a little bit about the project that we're funding for the year.
Wonderful. And tell us about some of the projects, though, that you're going to do in the coming year.
Sure.
Because as we talked before the show, that I need to get you here once every quarter to talk about the interesting things that you do
Yeah.
and events that you do.
There are a lot of really great projects. Like I had mentioned, the Mariah Mitchell's project that is connected to the straw program in Nantucket. There's also another straw-related project that we're funding, which is with the Falmouth Water Stewards. And they have a Skip the Straw initiative that students started. They've been doing it for
Wonderful.
3 years. So what they're going to be doing is creating an educational video that can be shared with other student groups, other schools, to encourage them to put a program together as well. And what's great about getting the students involved is they're comfortable going out talking to local businesses and people, and it's hard to turn a child away. If a
Absolutely.
kid asks you to do something, it's hard to say no to them.
Well, you know
Yeah.
that it's their future that we're talking about, too.
Right.
So I think that's wonderful.
We do. This year we have a water bottle filling station to reduce single-use plastic that we're funding in Wellfleet.
Great.
Another one in the National Seashore, and we've done a couple of those before. And then we have given a grant to Cape Cod Can, and there's a mural that's going to be. They're creating. They create art for people with disabilities. And it's related to the Kennedys, and it's going to hang eventually in our airport.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
There's an amazing amount of events and activities that you're involved in. And I always hate it when somebody says, well, it's the best kept secret on Cape Cod. Well, you're way under the radar. But it's true. Some of those very fun and exciting things are under the radar. And to tie in businesses like Highline, which is certainly an amazingly visible corporation on the Cape and do great things, that tie-in is so good. Because
I also wanted to say, just kind of an extension of Highline, and who is Cape Cod Custom Tours, which is a division of Highline, and they do the tours. And Rainey, the director, has been a real supporter for a long time.
great.
As you were mentioning the day, I was thinking about him. He's always seems to be photographed cleaning up and
right.
helping out, and he's been terrific.
He comes to CARE Day always, and he's like, give me a rake. He always works hard, and he likes to rake and clean up. But they've also been a supporter, because obviously we need to generate money that we use to do the work that we do. And so Cape Cod Custom Tours has been supporting us for a number of years by a portion of every whale watch that they go on, they donate to CARE for our work.
That's spectacular. And that's an interesting thing, too, because bringing people to the Cape and finding something, especially, say, say people my age, a demographic my age, not young people like yourselves, but when
That's so kind
the
of you.
older people come to the Cape, we want to do more on our vacation than just go to the typical tourist places, and to be able to say, hey, here's an event that you can go to or an activity that you can tie into, and it will benefit the ecology, the environment, you name it. It's so critically important. Jill, tell everyone how they can get a hold of you. How, if they want to know more about CARE, I should say the full name, CARE for Cape and the Islands.
Right.
How do they get a hold of you?
Our website, careforthecapeandislands.org. We also have a Facebook page, and we have a new Skip the Straw Facebook page as well.
Great.
So yeah, that's the best way. Registration information for our CARE days on the website. We have a pledge on the Skip the Straw page on our website as well. So just like Highline did, we are encouraging local businesses to sign the pledge, to agree to not serve plastic straws any longer. And once they commit to doing that, they'll be listed on our site. They'll be linked up to their site, so they get marketing exposure. They'll get a decal that they can display to show that they are a responsible business partner, and help with training their staff as well.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's so important to tie in, and the businesses can feel very good about doing it. Now, if we come to CARE Day on May 3rd? On May 3rd, do we have to rake? I hate raking.
You don't
Rainey
have to
likes
rake.
to rake, but man,
Yeah.
raking, whoa,
We
no.
have some for those hardcore people. We've got some more physical labor activities, but we also have some indoor things. They want to get the museum set up for the season.
Right.
So you can even do some simple things like washing windows or a little light dusting if
Excellent.
someone doesn't feel like doing that.
Excellent.
And then we've got weeding, and there's a new pathway that they're pollinator path that they're putting into. So there are a number of different activities.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and they'll also get to take a tour of the museum. One of the great things about our CARE Day is I find that many people have not been to any of these places, even though we've lived here for a long time. There's just something about when you live on Cape Cod, you don't necessarily go from town to town.
Absolutely.
So you get to go and explore a new attraction, and it's been great for the museums and where we've held these events because it's been a good marketing, and then other people tell other people.
Well, just getting someone to go down to Wellfleet, that would be great. My brother-in-law lives in Hyannis. To him, that would be like going to another country.
Well, we were at Knobscot Light last year, and it was an amazing place. We actually got people from Provincetown that went all the way to Woods Hole.
That is a trick.
But that was a really special day.
Well, I think that's a wonderful thing. You've given us a good direction on how people can get involved. Give me a couple of key takeaways. What would you like people to know most about CARE for Cape and the Islands? And then I'm going to get Betsy I'm going to ask her what is the most important thing about the straw initiative, about Skip the Straw. What do you think?
Well, I think it's important for all of us to get involved. I mean, this is our special place. So take pride in it and get involved with us, whether it's, being, volunteering for half a day at CARE Day. We have these great other things if you want to support us financially. We take donations, but we're selling the straws and also this really cool bamboo silverware set.
Excellent.
Just think about how much, do you really need plastic silverware when you go out? If these go to the beach, go to your backpack, things like that. Say no to plastic straws, plastic water bottles. Bring a reusable container. Just think about the.
I'm glad I didn't bring out the styrofoam
I'm
cups.
glad you didn't
This
too.
is
You would have heard from me about it. Yeah, and look on our website to see all the things that we funded, all these really great experiences that you
Excellent.
you can have.
Excellent. And Betsy, couple of things that you'd like to say about the Stir the Straw initiative, or tell us how good you think Jill's doing it with Care for
I
Cape,
think
Cape
I
and the
am
Islands.
very impressed with what Jill has done with Care for the Cape and Islands. I think it's amazing. And having gone to your
5-year anniversary.
5-year anniversary
Yeah.
last year, and learning about all the grants that were given out and all the initiatives were, and from everywhere, from Nantucket, and there was an organization, was the agricultural fair.
Last year, our 5-year, we gave out a special grant for our 5-year anniversary, and it went to Martha's Vineyard, our first project on Nantucket. I mean, on Martha's Vineyard for
Yeah.
That's so good.
food waste.
That's so good.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I mean, you have a big footprint to cover when you have the Cape and the islands
Yeah.
both.
Yeah.
That's a handful.
I guess my last thing, actually, I can say is the fact that I would welcome any help in doing the work that we're doing, because I would love to have some volunteers.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jill
And it-
Talladay, Care for Cape and the Islands. Contact her, let her know, find out more about Cape and the Islands. Betsy Rich, thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for joining us and contributing. We appreciate it. And we know that the work that you all do to help where we live, it's a wonderful thing. Well, thank you all for watching. We do appreciate it. Care for Cape and the Islands. We'll catch you next time on Profile.